All right, man. We live. Like NBA 95, man. You remember NBA Live 95, man? That was a great
Man,
game.
what?
Man,
NBA Live 95 was like
it was the
the
first.
original 2K. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because they had games before that, but that one took the
Yeah.
cake. I don't
NBA
know.
Live by EA Sports. That was, yeah.
What was your main team on that game?
Oh man, I played with the Knicks all the time, man. I'm a New York Knicks fan.
Mm,
And
Knicks
what
player.
me and my brother did, my brother's Orlando Magic fan. So what we often did was we created characters like ourselves and we put ourselves on each one of those teams and blew up our stats and like just dominated.
Which was always the fun thing to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No point in just playing with the regular players.
Right, right, right.
But I ran with Orlando, man.
Oh,
Penny and
you
Shaq. Yeah, they were just uncontrollably great.
yeah. My brother's gonna be delighted to hear that. He's still a Magic fan to this day. Um, but yeah, aside from that, man, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the GFB Clubhouse. This is one of our, we might as well say, scratch that, our initial episodes, man. We come here, we have a forum, an open forum where we invite our viewers and watchers to participate, jump into the conversation with us, raise your hand, ask questions, make comments just based on the topic we're discussing. And today we chose a fantastic introductory topic. It's very broad, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of feedback on it or a lot of commenting on it. And what we're discussing pretty much is essentially how we're navigating through life as Black men in this current American era. We know right now the gas prices are high, food prices are high. I don't know what ain't high right now, you know what I'm saying? But in regards to the war that's going on with Iran, which is clearly affecting our country and many other nations, in regards to massive job loss by way of the federal government or either AI, people adapting AI to their current model and to their current business plans, laying off lots of people. It's a lot to deal with, and this is
Mhm.
already on top of everything else that we have to deal with as Black men in America, being good men in the community, being examples, being role models, being fathers, sons, husbands, brothers. These types of things are all on our shoulders. And, this is a safe space to where we come and we discuss those things, talk about how we're doing, and possibly discover a couple remedies. In today's episode, I got my brother Rod Brunson. And
Yeah.
another brother might be joining us a little bit later, Gregory Rutledge, and a fourth brother that we have that joins us pretty regularly, but regrettably, well, not regrettably, but he had oral surgery yesterday, so he's not going to be able to join us today. Is my brother John Sober, man. So it's
Shout
four of
out
us
John.
make up the GFB, man. How you doing today, Rod? Man, let's get to rap. Chop this
I'm
up.
amazing. Look, I've developed this sense of resilience, man. It just doesn't go anywhere.
Hmm.
And you know, it's part of what we're doing, what we're talking about, like being grateful. When I find myself in a rut or going down the wrong, tunnel or complaining or looking at the negative side of things, I just dial back and I think about things I'm grateful for and I pick it back up, man. But yeah, I'm good, man. How are you? How's your day?
Man, I couldn't complain. As we say in Spanish, no tengo quejas means I don't have any complaints. And
Say it one more time. Say that again. Hold up. See, you can't just slip that past me. I'm from Atlanta. I don't have no bilingual dual. I don't know. No, no. Say that again. What was that?
no tengo means I don't have. That's what no tengo means.
Mm.
Quejas means complaints. So
No tengo chaos.
no tengo quejas. Yeah.
Okay.
Next time you see one of the good brethren, in front of Home Depot, and say ¿Cómo estás? If they ask you that, say no tengo quejas, hermano. Say it like that,
Nah,
man.
because then they finna ramble off. They gonna think I know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be like completely lost after that. I'm be like, Brad, what are they saying?
Yeah, they will talk a billion miles a minute after that, man. But hey, shoot, man, that's another thing I'm grateful for. Being able to, I don't consider myself like fluent. It's like day
Mhm.
by day learning this language, and then like a couple of people know who are close to me. And I spent a lot of time in Colombia recently, just a couple weeks ago, so forth. Really
Mhm.
impacted my ability to speak this new language, but I'm thankful of how I was able to adapt to it and just learn gradually. I'm thankful for the opportunity to learn because
Yeah.
this is indeed how a whole group of people, communicate with one another. And
A whole lot of
yeah,
people on this planet, not just in the United States.
yeah,
Let's be clear.
yeah, man. Thank you for the heads up on this, man. We're just getting everything going right now. Just making sure all of our devices working properly. But yeah, man. Shoot, jumping right into the topic. I know Greg will join us when he can. Um, I know there are three factors that I have that help me on a
Mhm.
day-to-day basis, irregardless of what happens. Because we know as men, anything can transpire at any given moment during the day. It could throw your whole day off instantly.
Yeah,
And
right.
one of the first thing that I have to, you know, I guess use as one of my foundational things is just my morning routine, man. What I do as soon as I wake up and how it actually sets the tone for the day. And the reason why I'm grateful for this is because I know for the majority of my life, this was not into practice. And I can see
Yeah.
the difference. I can see the shift. So it's not only just waking up, having prayer, meditating, getting some water in my body, and then getting up and getting moving, but it's also about mentally placing myself in submission to our Father in heaven, man.
Mm,
Most High, man. When I'm able to do that, it actually takes a lot of stress, anxiety, or pressure off of me for what I believe I must accomplish like immediately. Because
mm.
as we all know, as men, there's a million things that go through our minds as soon as we wake up that we have to take care of.
Yep.
And pretty much that's what we've been customized and built. I got to get this done, got to get that done. And sometimes we don't take a breath.
Mm,
But when I center myself and use the Most High as my foundation and just say, this day is in your hands. I'm happy for another day of life. Whatever you bring me, I'm going to handle it because you're right there with me. Let's go. And
yeah.
that automatically just relieves me of a certain amount of pressure that I have to deal with on a
I'm
day-to-day
so
basis.
glad you opened up with that, bro. I have to chime in because
Please.
I am notorious for starting a path like that and then falling off the wagon. And I can
Mm,
tell the difference between those days where I start out with gratitude, I'm thankful, I spend a little time in meditation, prayer, whatever, worship. Just something where I'm having to kind of pause on that go get itness, that hustle mentality.
mhm,
And it's in those pause moments where we're able to let some of that pressure go. We're able to let some of that steam out and breathe. It's like
mhm.
when you're working out and you on the bench and you pushing and you like, and then like whoever's spotting you or training you or something, they'll be like, breathe, man. Don't forget to
Yeah.
breathe. When you in that moment and you got all that weight on you, it's hard to breathe. And you
Oh,
don't
man.
even realize you're not breathing. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? That's to me,
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing I think we're facing it, especially as black men in today's time. We don't even realize we're not breathing.
Mm,
We just in there pushing weight. We getting stronger. We recognize that we're getting the job done. We doing what we need to do, but we're not breathing.
mm.
So
So
when I sit in the morning, especially when I start my day that way, when I sit, I don't care if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it sets the day off on the right tone. So
yeah,
yeah, it changes things.
it sets things off, man. And I find that, with that adjustment and incorporating the gratitude that usually is, fluent throughout my morning routine. I'm grateful I'm alive, grateful I'm waking up. And when I remember the times where it was not this sweet, when like I
Mhm.
woke up, got back pain or something like that from working out or doing something, and you're just immobile. Health is the first thing I'm thankful for because any one of us at any given time could, fall sick or be incapacitated, or something could happen to where we can't, actively function the way we like to. So the first thing I
Right.
thank God for is health. Because I saw it on an Instagram post one time. It's like, man, when you are a man and you alive, you probably got 100 different problems. But if you're a man and you're alive and you're sick, you got one problem, and that's
Uh,
getting past that sickness once, because that thing blocks everything else you're doing. If you sick, you ain't at full capacity, can't do what you need to do. Really limits you as far as your productivity. So always thankful for that, man. But
literally. I'm glad you said that. I ain't gonna chime in too much. I think Greg might be joining us soon as well. But you said it. Our health doesn't become a priority until it is the priority.
Yeah,
And
man.
I'm a victim of that, man. I recently came down with the flu. I would say it's about a month ago, 2 months ago
Mhm.
now. Bro, I was down. I'm talking about so down I couldn't function. I ain't had no energy for nothing. And I realized in that moment, I'm like, I gotta get my act together
Mm,
because my kids need me. I need me. My neighbors, you know what I mean? Like you can't be here if your physical body is not intact. So that's the first thing we gotta take care of our temple, you know.
absolutely, man. Temple is where it's at, man. Shoot, just thinking about the benefits of it. The other thing that inspires me is we're around that age, we're about middle age or so forth. I'm not gonna say old because old is really a state of mind in
Mhm,
my idea. You know what I'm saying? It's really not age. Considering the fact that people who used to live way long before us used to live way longer. I'm talking like biblical times, like 100 years old, stuff like that. But
mhm,
so we are pretty much still babies in the grand scheme of things. But one thing that always keeps me humble in regards to, saying not taking life for granted is there are brothers I know who are my age and younger who have already passed away.
mm,
And, you know, when I view my parents who are well into their 70s right now, it seems like every other week I talk to my father and my mother, they're telling me about funerals that they're going to. Gotta go to
yep.
this funeral, that funeral. So around their age, one might say it might be expected that that stuff type that happens. But
Mhm,
man, we got some brothers who are dealing with that like right now. Like people are dropping right now due to sickness. I haven't really heard about too many COVID outbreaks or cases of it recently, but we
mhm,
know even through that time, man, a lot of people were lost.
mm,
And it just for me myself, it made me a lot more health conscious, not only about uh, training and physical activity, but also, of course,
mm.
what I put into the temple, and the importance of growing food and finding out about natural remedies, things that come from the earth, just like we did, that are fully apt to heal us, rather than a narcotic or something that we get prescribed to us. Not saying that that stuff is all bad, but
It's
depending on
something you have to
who
test
you are,
with, right?
yeah, something you got to test with, man.
I'm curious though. I want to ask you about that because and welcome in, Greg. Being
Thank you, thank you.
a guy who is a natural foodie, who's a natural couch potato, who does not mind what he eats at all, right? Who loves desserts, and I work behind a computer all day. How can someone like me develop the mindset? You know what I mean? Because I hear these stories. It's like, yeah, man, I'm a black man. I want to be mindful of what I put in my body and my temple and, all the Kung Fu Joe stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then I feel left out because I'm like, I know better, but why am I not doing better? What do you
Mm.
think is that triggering moment for you? Because I don't assume that you've been on the health kick your entire life, right? At some point it kicked in. So was it the whole COVID death thing, or was it something else that kind of triggered that for you?
Well, for me personally, and like I said, this is just my story with it. Uh, about a little over a decade now, I found myself approaching 280 in weight, and I'm
Mm,
6'3", and that's beyond ridiculous. And so I chose to start working out with a trainer. And after that happened, I started, getting pretty much the regimen I was doing, learning to do interval training, learning just to max out instead of counting reps, just go as hard as I can for a certain set, and then just do as much as I can the next one. So it's not about having numbers, it's doing that. And then additionally, cutting back on foods that I knew wouldn't serve me, like fast food. Everybody knows if you living in the United States, ain't too far of a drive to get any type of fast food you want. They're everywhere. It's just plentiful. So the first discipline I had to develop was just reducing portions. So the very first thing
mm,
I did was something simple. Instead of getting a regular sized dinner plate for my meals or whatever, even a paper plate, whatever it is, I would just get a smaller plate.
mm,
And that was the first thing I did. And by reducing portions, of course you're going to deal with certain type of hunger, but man, if you battle through that stuff like initially, you'll find out that your stomach does not rule you, you rule it. You choose what you consume and what you don't. It's going to be difficult, just like everything is. First start you get into the gym, you're not going to be extremely strong, but I guarantee you this: every time you go to the gym, there's always going to be somebody a lot stronger than you. There's going to be somebody a lot weaker than you. So don't look at yourself or judge yourself in the position where it's like, I can't do this, I can't get into this. Just start. And if
So
you can't,
weight,
find a partner
would you say
to get
that weight
accountability.
was the primary thing for you?
Oh yeah, man. It was definitely
Mhm.
the weight, man. I was up there.
Mm.
And I'm a brother who struggled with asthma when I was younger. So I ain't like to run or nothing like that because I was scared. I was like, I might have an asthma attack. So that was like a mental thing for me. When I was able to get past that, and not have any further difficulty with asthma based on the things I was eating and what I was putting in my body, there was a certain type of supplement, like natural supplement that I found to help my lungs. I went online, found out about it, started taking it, improved my cardiovascular health. I was able to, run a little bit more, jog a little bit more. And once I started building those blocks, then I started to realize it's like, okay, I'm a lot more powerful and capable than I thought that I was before. And that thing just kept snowballing, man. That's how I have. But you start small, of course, and then take practical steps, and then you just build and go out. And I know the reason why I believe our health is probably the most important thing is because everybody's going to eat. And within our society, and this may be, an unpopular belief, some people, some brothers might agree with me, the amount of options that we have that are not really healthy or good for us are just so plenty that it just
Yeah.
leads to our demise later on to where we are dependent on medications that cost large amounts of money. And that
Mm.
is systemically planned and organized. Like
Mm.
that's something that's set up in this nation. I can remember how many times I've, take trips down the road, driving back and forth to college, how many Burger Kings, McDonald's, Taco Bells, and Wendy's I passed. Like just almost like every exit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And doing all that and seeing all that, it's like, man, they really got the chips stacked against us health wise. Become docile, become lazy, less ambitious, and so forth. And that's just stuff. It plays a part not only on our mentality, but of course our physicality as well.
I,
But
I wonder,
those are
like,
the
with that thought process, do you think, and Greg, maybe you could chime in on this, do you think that if healthy food was cheaper than bad food, that we would actually buy it?
no.
No. And I'm going to definitely chime in on this because I remember a time where the healthy food was the cheaper option before the health craze. And at some point it flipped and it was cheaper to get, it was more expensive to get fat. It was cheaper to get
Mm.
healthy, but people weren't doing it. They were
Mm.
spending all this money on, and then they flipped it and they made getting fat cheaper, dollar menus, value menus, and started raising the prices because everyone wants to get healthy. They just don't know how.
Mm.
And in a nutshell, the best thing I've ever heard was from a doctor. It's a numbers game, and it's simply eat more eat more healthy foods, move more, and like move more than you consume, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
if I if I'm creating a calorie deficit and I'm not eating 3,000 calories in a day, I'm creating some sort of a deficit because 3,000 calories is a pound. But you can't just starve yourself of 3,000 calories in a day and lose weight. You have to, like, it's so much easier to put the weight on than it is to take it off. So it's a way longer process to get it off than it is to put it on. And we
Mm.
don't even realize, like, I got my Fitness Pal back in the day because I just wanted to be aware of what was going in my mouth. And the day that I started logging calories, I was with my ex-wife and two kids who were like 5 and 6 at the time. We had 20,000 calories between four of us at breakfast. That was eye-opening for me because
Hold
I'm
on.
like, wow,
What? How many?
20,000?
20?
20,000 calories for breakfast.
Look, I'm not
Bacon.
even the person that knows anything about no calories, but I know that's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, to give you perspective, typically anywhere from 1,200 to 2,500 is a normal day in calories for depending on how physically active you are.
Mhm.
So 20,000 at breakfast between four people, that's 5,000 calories a piece. We're wondering why we're blowing up like balloons. And just that awareness made me like aware that everything I put into my body is meant for energy, but we're trained to eat for taste. And so that's
Mm.
where the disconnect happens. A trainer I worked with, I love that you mentioned that you worked with a trainer. I was kind of listening in on my way in when I was backstage, you said you had worked with a trainer to
Mhm.
start your journey. I actually became a trainer unofficially and just started studying everything that I needed to know about how to lose weight. But when I finally did hire the trainer, I think I was like 10, 15 pounds in losing. And I was like, maybe if I hire a trainer, it'll speed it up. And he had us do this experiment. He had us waking up at 4 a.m., going to the gym. And 1 week he said, cut all carbs, all rice, all of the sweets, like cut it all out for a week. Just don't do it. Meat, veggies, healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, and drink nothing but water and black coffee if you want to drink something else. We did that for the whole week, and then Saturday morning, or is it? I think it was Friday night. He had us go to CC's Pizza, of all places, and I was like, well, hold on, we're gonna undo everything we did. He's like, it's a process, trust me. So we go and we eat this buffet. I'm eating this pizza and it feels like I'm smoking weed. I'm just so high off this food. I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Next morning, got to get up at 4 again, go to the gym. When I tell you I couldn't move, I couldn't get up, I felt hungover. And this is our normal state every single day. And he was doing it to prove a point. We're so accustomed to being heavy with this junk. I mean, I'm over here feeling convicted because I got ramen noodles while y'all are talking about the stuff. I don't even want to eat my noodles now.
See, gotta get some of that H2O, man.
Yeah, I left mine downstairs. I was like, man, I'm late. But it just, I don't know about y'all, but when I eat good food after fasting, after not eating anything at all, and the first thing that I eat is a like lightly seasoned chicken breast and some veggies, I can literally feel the food working in my brain. And you can feel it going to fuel your body. But when you eat for taste, or you eat a sweet or something that tastes and feels good, that comfort food, is it really comfortable?
That's
right?
so good.
What's
That's
going
so
on,
good.
Elijah? Yeah, man. I'm not sure how we got to this conversation. So catch me up real quick.
Now we were well the opening, like we were talking about. I was telling whoever's watching in our viewership is that we're talking about the different things that Black men especially are facing right now in this country amidst these
Okay.
inflationary times, amidst gasoline is up, food prices are up, wars going on. Don't go try to fly nowhere right now. I don't care what airport you in. I don't know where you guys are. You two are located, but the airport lines right now are insane. It's all over the news. I think TSA just got a deal from the president in regards to getting some funding or whatever. I think things are now alleviating, but we already know it's been bad for at least a couple of weeks. But just on that topic, we started to talk about the first things that ground us or keep us centered amidst these times, in addition to everything else that Black men got to deal with. And the first thing I mentioned was my morning routine and what I do. And it's pretty much it involves two basic things: my physical health and my spiritual health. It's before I do anything social, before I do anything educational for my mental learn, I always take care of the spiritual and then the physical very early in the morning. And that's when we started talking about food and so forth. And the one thing I want to mention, just to throw this into the pot, man, the amount of abundance that we have here in America for the types of things we want to eat is really, it can really not be underestimated. Like like the abundance that we have, and it's because we have so many options, and the options are packed with flavor enhancers and a lot of grease and a lot of sugar and a lot of fat. Because that stuff tastes good, man. I mean, ain't nobody gonna lie. After this conversation, I'm thinking about getting some fries. Just be real with y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Being real with you, let's pause the food conversation because I am actually fasting right now, and all this talk of grease and sugar and fries is like it's not
This is a
fun.
test. It's a
It's
test,
not a
man. You got
test.
this.
It's not a test. Okay, it's a distraction. It's pain, is what it is.
How long have you gone fast? It was like the longest that you fasted.
40 days, but it
How much?
wasn't like no. Let's be clear. It's not 40 days of no food and that type of thing. It's different type of things that I'm restricting myself from or whatever. But 40 days is the longest that I've gone, like really subjecting my body, my mind, my spirit to God and saying, you know what, this thing that I love over here, I'm gonna put it to the side and focus on what you got for me.
Okay.
And it wasn't easy, but I will say, just to wrap that with a pretty little bow, if you've never fasted before, really take a moment to connect with somebody who has, find out what it means, the purpose behind it, and put yourself through something like that, because
Mm.
it strengthens you in a way that you can't be strengthened in any other way. When you
Yeah.
restrict your body from food,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's life changing. So, needless to say, at the end of that 40 days, Brad, I was probably
You
the
can fly.
most close to God I've ever been in my life,
Mm.
because you depending on the Spirit.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
daily bread is now His word. It's not
Yeah.
McDonald's and Wendy's. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So yeah, life
Yeah.
changing.
You starve the flesh, and the spirit starts to speak. Right.
Mm.
Oh my God. Period. Well, they say whatever you feed is going to be the thing that grows.
Mm.
So if you feeding your spirit, it's going to grow. If you feeding your flesh, it's going to grow.
True.
You know.
Literally.
I wasn't aware of all the health benefits of fasting. I just like the first time I started doing it was just okay. Let me drop some weight. But the autophagia that takes place, how your body like heals itself and how it pulls from the fat reserves that we naturally have stored.
Mm,
I saw an interesting podcast not too long ago where a
Mhm.
nutritionist was speaking about the fact that our body stores fat out of its ability to keep us in survival. Like you think about it before, like when men had to go out and hunt, and if you don't catch nothing, you ain't eating nothing. So
mhm,
because of that, our bodies is like, okay, when we do eat, when we do consume, let's store this fat so that next time we need energy, we'll have it on hand to use when we need it. So the body automatically does that. But when you fast, you use those fat reserves, and then after that, your cells down to the molecular, the cellular level start to repair themselves. If you sick, fasting is the cure. Like honestly, if you have a problem, you got aches and pains somewhere in your body, fasting is the cure. These things I didn't know, and I was a
mm,
biology major. They didn't teach us this stuff. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? Like we were being prepared to be doctors, and I didn't know about the power of fasting the way it is. So not only do you get mental clarity, but you have like a physical reset button. And I
Yeah.
was like, man, this stuff is powerful. So
That's why
I
they call it
incorporate
breakfast, right?
break
You're
fast.
breaking
Mhm.
the
Break the
fast
fast.
from
Yep.
being asleep and not eating it. So, and during that time, that's why they say don't eat so late at night. Your body is processing food and fat and all type of stuff different ways based off of what you put in the night before. So yeah, you definitely fast. Have you done a water fast or juice fast? Was that the question? It went away. I didn't see it.
For me myself, I did water. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Elijah. He's a podcast host, entrepreneur here in Texas. He has a lot of cool things going on, but he also has this meetup he started called the Veggie Outers. And it's introducing people to vegan food in a way that, the vegan community can be harsh on people that eat meat, but I never experienced that going with them. So he's asking, have you done a water fast or juice fast before? I've
Mm.
done both, and thank you. The the juice fast is fun, right? Because you've got juice. It's good. It's fruit. It's tasty. Water is good too. I love water. I had to train myself to love water, but
Dude.
the juice will clean you out.
Yeah, they both will. But if I'm reading the question correctly, I think what he's asking, and maybe this is just my interpretation, is juice only or water only.
Yes.
Where
Yeah.
you're not eating during that fast. It's just that. And a liquid only fast, I've done that too. It ain't for the weak. I'm gonna tell you that. It is not for the weak.
I tell everybody, man, if you could just make it to day 3, you in the clear. Day 3, that time period between the end of day 2 and the beginning of day 3, that's when it's hard, man. That's when the fire is under your behind. He's like, look, if I don't eat nothing, but if you can push through that,
Yeah.
and drink enough water just to satisfy or fill your stomach up and push through that, you in the clear, man.
It
That's
depends on how long the fast is. It depends on your body, out your mental capacity to handle that matters too. And to me, that's the biggest benefit. And I don't want to steal the show talking about this, but I think it's important, especially as Black men. Like our mental fortitude is detrimental to our survival. What do I mean by that? How we respond to things is based on how strong our mental capacity is to handle that situation, our emotional stability, all of those things come into factor when we're pressed, when we feel stressed, when we have things weighing on us, right? That's how a person could just go off and, you know, pull a gun out and do something stupid in the moment that doesn't seem like it warranted that type of response. It's because of all of the pressure and things that have built up, and when we don't have the mental capacity to deal with it, now we find ourselves like water going into a pot of hot grease. You know, something's gonna pop off. You know, so the best way to handle that is to practice things like fasting and meditation and working out, ways to release that stress and deal with situations. Like I'll wrap by saying this. Got two sons. When they were younger, I wanted them to play football, and my wife was initially like, I don't know about that, you know, concussions and, you know, injuries. I said, listen, I don't care if they play football, you know, in high school or college or pros, whatever. I'm not really concerned with that. But at this young age, there's no other arena where they get to learn how to get knocked down and get back up in a way that's safe, in a way where they can express their frustrations. And you know what I mean? Like, so I wanted them to deal with that terrain at a young age so they can know how to handle themselves. Because as grown men, it's a little bit too late. The only way you're gonna learn how to deal with yourself in that point of view is in a prison cell, and that's not okay.
That's not okay.
Martial arts. Martial arts is another one.
Well, I'm just saying, as a grown up,
yeah,
you know, it's too late to kind of fix some of those wirings so that you know how to deal with it in a safe way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put them in martial arts too. But yeah.
Has there been any other practice that you gentlemen have employed, maybe like even like a hobby, to kind of like help you cope or move these or navigate these through these times, keeping your mental sanity, your physical sanity, your spiritual sanity, there, you know, with everything that's going on, especially in this nation? One thing that I definitely want to mention for myself, and Greg, I want you to respond on this because I think this is one of your outlets too. Is music, man. Music. I'm telling you right now, that's one of the greatest gifts God then gave man, is the ability to make and find and like speak. I think it's a language. I tell people, I was like, one of the languages I speak is music. And when they look at me funny-eyed, it's like, how you mean? I was like, I can play a song for you right now with absolutely no lyrics, and you can tell me what that song makes you feel. What is you say? I can play some hard rock right now. What's gonna make you want to do? Probably go, you know, wild out. But if I play some R&B, what you gonna want to do? You gonna want to chill out. Music is a language, and that's the reason why it's such a powerful medium for messages that we have. But that's definitely one of my things, man. 70s music, some good, you know, gospel, some old school R&B, depending on what, you know, what I'm in the mood for. That really helps, man.
Well,
Greg, what you think?
I want to address two things. So, Rod, you told me to turn my mic up, and now I hear myself. You said respond, and I thought that was really interesting. Like the way you respond to the stimulus outside, and then you started to describe like, or else you would pull a gun out or do something insane because you don't have that foundational thing you do, and that's called reacting. So it's the ability to respond is a responsibility, right? How do we respond to life? We have to be intentional with how we prepare to go into life, right? What is the foundation of what we're doing? Like Brad has his morning routine. That is what keeps his physical and his spiritual going, and then everything else can trickle down from there. For me, spiritual principles, something I learned back in 12-step recovery was we had this little thing called the spiritual principle jar, and they had these little popsicle sticks. On each popsicle stick was a spiritual principle. The beautiful thing about a principle is you can take it from one arena and put it into another, and it still remains true, whether you believe in God or not. And that is universal for everyone. So me and my wife do this every morning. We pull a principle, and I think today she pulled optimism, and it just gives your brain something to focus on, because you can't be grateful and miserable at the same time, right? Whatever you focus on is going to take over your attention. I love that you said music is a language, because it's a language I've spoken my whole life without knowing it. And then once I learned how to use the tools to make my own, it became a game. And whether I'm making music for the public or like just making music for my own enjoyment, it always ends up being that outlet that I need, especially when I use my voice with it. When I'm making instrumentals, that's one thing. I don't really feel like using my voice. I don't feel like talking, but when I make an instrumental, it communicates what I'm feeling in that moment. Because every sound that I put together is based on that emotion I'm in there. And every time anyone hears that, they feel that. So it's just, I think over the years that I've made music, it's been 30 years now making music, I love to see if I can convey the emotion I was feeling in the time of writing or making that song. If the person listening to it gets it, then I know I was there, not here, but here. And that's communicating. That's why when we listen to a song, we can feel something. You know, we're on a train station or somewhere in public and you sing, she's just a small town girl. Everybody will break out in the song. They feel good, right? Everybody, no matter who you are, knows that song.
Yeah.
And it makes people feel something. So music, I like to pair that with a walk because walking is the best exercise you can do.
True.
You have to balance yourself. You have to use every muscle in your body. And as long as you keep moving, you'll keep moving for the most part, right? Unless you like seriously injure yourself, you can't stop moving. And for neurodivergent people especially, you have to walk because you have to have this bilateral stimulation of I have to keep my brain and my body busy at the same time or else I get bored. And we just need that motion. So for me, it's standing desk, it's getting out and walking often, it's talking to people and pacing on the phone. That helps me. But if I have to sit at a desk alone in silence, you better believe I'm taking a nap soon.
Might be talking to people who are stuck behind a desk.
Right, which is me. But I'm gonna comment on that, Brad, too, because I have a different approach, man. Listen, Black man, get some therapy. Black man, get some therapy. We all need therapists. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means there's something right with you. And you need to figure out how to deal with the different things that come to you in life. They give you tools to be able to properly address the feelings, the emotions, the stress, and the things that happen to you. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have therapy. So yeah, music is a thing. It's therapy. Like people say, music is therapy. Working out is therapy. There are a lot of different things that can kind of conform to be a release or something that, you know, will help you. But sitting with a professional who has gone to school, who's clinically trained to understand what's going on in your brain, right? They can help you by giving you tools and telling you. It's almost like a dentist, right? You go, oh, my tooth hurts. When you sit down, they're going to look, they're going to investigate, they're going to use their training. They're going to say, hey, I know the remedy for that pain, right? Here you go. Here's the tool. Here's how you work on that thing, right? Only difference between a therapist and a dentist outside of them working on your teeth is that you have to do the work. All they're going to do is give you the tools to be able to do the work. So that said, also don't get caught up, right? If you go look for a therapist and it's not working out, don't say therapy ain't for me. Maybe it's that therapist that's not for you. Go find somebody else, right? Figure out what works for you. You might think you want to see a female. You get in there, you're not working out with female. You go through 2 or 3 more, it's not working out. Try a male, vice versa, right? If you working with somebody who's a different race from you and it's not working out, try somebody in your race or different race. The whole idea is that you go until you find something that works. And when you do, you're going to be equipped with tools that will never leave you. Till this day, and I'll wrap with this, Brad, till this day, when I'm facing a situation and I'm feeling the pressure, I can feel my blood pressure boiling up. And I'm really like, I want to punch a wall or something, right? When we have those moments as men, we don't really have outlets. I've gotten a tool from my therapist where I will go sit in the corner for 3 minutes and go through my tool work, and I'm good. I'm back to normal. But before I would have to go to the gym and work out for 60 minutes, or, you know, some people go to alcohol or whatever it might be. What I'm telling you guys is get therapy. It's worth every penny. and it's going to change your lives for the better.
You can make it powerful. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I just want to tag in on that real quick. Now that you mentioned that, you know, I've undergone so much therapy and recovery work. It became Tuesday to me. Like, where it has helped me get to just feels like a new normal. I forget that it took me 9 anger management classes to finally stop blowing up on everybody. My sister got me a shirt that said, "My anger management class pisses me off." And it was fitting. But I'll never forget my therapist. He was drawing all the things I was complaining about on the board. This was back in 2015. We had done EMDR treatment, and he's trying to show me that I'm in this toxic relationship, right? But there's a common denominator between all of the problems I have. And I'm over here trying to put the dots together between all these things. And he throws the marker at the board and he's like, "It's you." And I never put that together. It was crazy how I didn't see I was the common denominator in all of my issues. I kept blaming, shifting blame. You know, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be this way. And I was losing all of my power. And this is after recovery and knowing better. So it's not just getting therapy, it's staying in a community of people that are headed in that same direction, because you can easily be pulled back into the wrong, unhealthy habits if you're not around people who are trying to elevate and be greater, essentially.
It's really good.
On the same promotional spirit that you have in therapy, Rod, I would echo that in regard. You know what? If I'm being honest with you guys, the same type of thing is usually said to black men about going to the doctor. Now, that's one thing that, at least in my family alone, and other families that I've observed, that's not something that's too popular. Because usually the mindset is, and this has been for me as well, when I go to the doctor, he's going to tell me something else that's wrong. And that's just going to add something else that's wrong to my list that I got to fix. I already got enough to deal with. So I don't need him to give me something else, or to give her to give me something else, that I got to work on, and that ain't right. It, like, you go in there, you get diagnosed, you get your checkup, and you find, okay, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. It's kind of like when you take your car to the shop. You go in there to get one thing fixed, they come back with a list of 10 things that need to be fixed. I don't want to deal with that. That was, going back to our original question to start this off, that was also one of the motivating factors for me to get healthy. I was like, I don't want to have to run to a doctor because I'm in dire straits with my health. Let me find what I can do for myself to prevent sickness, to prevent injury, to keep myself as healthy as I can be for as long as. And then if an emergency, I'm like, if I break a limb or something like that, and of course I go see a doctor. But whatever I do to avoid that trip, because I don't want to hear something else that's wrong. I don't want to feel something. That was a real motivator. And I know there's some other brothers out there who feel the same, especially ones that know, and they're kind of like doing the same thing. So that could be like a solution for those who's like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have to do with all that. Start taking that health tip seriously by finding out what you should put into your body on a regular basis and make the changes necessary, or else you will have to deal with it.
Being proactive, right?
Absolutely, man.
But let's be honest. You talk about being honest. Like I feel like I'm the advocate for the couch potato that's out there listening. Okay. The reality is we kick that can down the road. We say, oh, well, I'll get it to another day. Oh, well, it's not bothering me right now. We prioritize the things that are bothering us physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally. And so since the physical piece is not bothering us, it becomes a kick can down the road. So how, like, I'm always curious about this piece, because I feel like when it comes to working out, when it comes to eating right, a person is only going to do it if they really want to do it and they got a compelling reason. So do you feel like that's something that we can, as a unit, as black men, kind of do better at in terms of motivating our fellow brother? Or do you think it's just one of those things where they got to make that choice?
You mentioning that is actually one of the most powerful motivators there is. Not doing it for yourself, but for those around you. If you have children, powerful motivator. Spouse, powerful motivator. If you need to be around so you can take care of other family members, those who may be older than you, powerful motivator. Matter of fact, I would suggest that over anything. Make it about you taking care of yourself for somebody else's benefit rather than your own. And I do that with a lot of things. Speaking my mind or making a certain type of presentation or like being honest or being truthful in a certain moment. What overcomes my fears? Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't want to have to put myself out there. What conquers that fear or that thought is the fact that somebody else is going to benefit from this. And I can prevent somebody else from going through the same types of things that I was going through that caused me to be in a bad position. I need to give it to them. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be good for me. It's going to be good for them. It's a win-win scenario. It's kind of like how we've been testifying on here, the types of things that we've dealt with. We haven't gone deep into it, but listening to this conversation, you kind of see the weaknesses that have been evident that we're still working on and that we've overcome. All three of those things are met within this conversation, helping somebody else who's listening to this. So let that be the reason. Somebody else benefit.
Yeah.
Really good point. Bottom line is, man, we're dealing with a lot as Black men, especially in America, like you said up front. But how are we coping with everything that's going on around us? I don't know about you guys, but I barely watch the news.
I was just about to say,
it's traumatizing.
It's crazy because we've never lived in an age where we could custom curate our feed to what we wanted. And it's never been more detrimental than right now, because you can literally close your eyes to what's going on and curate your feed to what you want to see. If you want to see motivation, you can see that. If you want to see skin, you can see that. If you want to see, how to build your business, matter of fact, you're gonna see more of what you talk about. And then it just becomes this echo chamber. So if I'm talking about politics, eventually whoever I'm following is going to be the only thing in my feed, right? So it really, we're going through detrimental times, but are we? Or is it just what's in our personal feed, right? Because when I get out in the world, I'll never forget this. COVID. I was arguing. We see all this stuff about the hospitals overflowing and the world's crazy, but have you met anyone with COVID yet? Because I haven't. Then I got COVID 2 weeks later. And my inbox was flooded with questions. But when I went to the hospital to get the test, the hospital was deserted. There was no one there. So what I was seeing on the news and what was happening in real life was not matching up. And I started getting suspicious. And then all these tests they had to run, all these COVID, whatever, the numbers are going up, 2-point-something million are diagnosed today. This lady had to read the test to figure out how to do it. How many have you administered if you had to read the test to me? Right? So it's really all about perspective, and these right now control the narrative, right? We don't know what's real anymore, especially with AI and all of the video stuff. Like, I'm reading stuff, and as soon as I see that AI cadence I just stop reading. I know you didn't put anything into this. And I fall prey to it too sometimes, because I've turned over certain things to AI to help me be a little more on point with what I'm trying to say, because I can open loops and never close them or jump around in my organization. But if you turn it over completely, you start to sound like the AI slob. So is it really a crisis going on, or is it what we're being fed, what's being pushed to us, right? So that we believe that's what's happening, so we stay divided.
I mean, so I hear you, but bro, it's a crisis going on. I do believe there's some truth to what you're saying in terms of like our feeds and algorithms showing us certain things and all that. But, I ain't even got to mention all the stuff. You already know some of the crazy antics with the president, with, some of the same systematic things that have been in place since forever, right? It's not going anywhere. right? So the question is, how do you deal with it? The question is, how do you push through with these gas prices going crazy? How do you push through when you have to show up at an occupation that doesn't serve you properly? You don't know what to do because you still got to pay your bills, but you know God is calling you to this other thing. You got this business that you want to build. You got the pressure on top of you to be somebody else. Like I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on, because that's the topic of this conversation, is what we're dealing with as Black people, as Black men specifically. But with that said, let's not make it a trivial thing whether or not we are in a crisis. We are absolutely in a really weird place, and it's not just because of how things are in current state. It's the trajectory of where we're going.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, it's the crisis is because of where we're going. It's not just because of what things are today. Like, we are in a place where things are in shambles. Like this whole king thing, because I don't watch the news, I wasn't paying attention to it, but I just kept seeing it pop up here and there, and then finally I started paying attention. I'm like, wow.
What is
so
the
we
no
got
king
protests
thing?
going? Oh, so you need to check it out. Brad,
the thing I saw was Kit Kat lost 12 tons of Kit Kats. That's what was in my feed.
No. See, let me comment on both of those things just to close it up. One thing, I believe Rod is correct. And Greg, when you have time, go on any social media platform and just type in #NoKing. You'll see everything. Protests across America, several cities. Right here in Washington, D.C., they was marching. But you'll find out more about it. It's not enough time to talk about all that. I do agree with the fact that we are in a crisis based on trajectory, and the fact that AI has completely changed our algorithm and the way it operates on all of our social medias. When we first got on, we saw things that our friends that we followed would post. Now, I rarely see any of that. I only see what I have customized my algorithm to be, which is motivational stuff about communications, a little bit of sports, and maybe a few other things. And that's it. That's all I'm going to be shown. I'm not going to see a lot of what a lot of people that I follow, what they post. I'm not going to see it. So it's true to a degree of what you are getting fed by the machine. But let me take this time to say this to everybody watching and listening. This is the reason why this type of conversation and forum is relevant and valuable, because AI ain't having this conversation. No. AI cannot recollect on past experiences. AI cannot tell you how it's dealing with these inflationary times as a Black man, because it's not that. So each and every, what do we say, every other Tuesday, because I know we're coming up on the end of the hour. Each and every other Tuesday, we'll be on with this open forum, and we want to get the feedback of those that are watching, especially if you're a Black man. In the comments section, if you have different types of input, we're going to be setting up a system where you can actually join this conversation with us. We're calling this forum the GFB Clubhouse, and this is pretty much our introductory episode. We've had other podcasts before, but this is something we're going to be consistently doing moving forward for the benefit of the brethren. And so with that being said, I want to kind of give you guys to, give a closing or a wrap-up thought just for this segment. We have more to come, but I want you to give the gentleman watching and whoever's watching something valuable that they can take away with them as far as dealing with the things that we deal with right now in this present economy.
Man, can I go first, Rod? Because I know you're about to wrap it up and then just put that robe back on. So let me start by saying this. Let's define crisis as a word. A crisis is simply a turning point. It doesn't have to be good or bad or necessarily bad. It's just things are changing and we're turning in a different direction. When you say we're helping the Black man, I find that in my identification as a Black man, I perpetuate a story I don't even want to be here, right? So I identify first as a child of God, because there lies abundance. I have everything already here for me. And so if I move like that, I've seen results where same color person, same opportunities can't get what I've gotten or can't achieve what I've achieved. But it's because of the belief that as a Black man, I can't do XYZ, or I'm not entitled to XYZ, or I don't have access to XYZ. But as a child of God, I can talk to any stranger and make them a friend and create an opportunity because I created a connection. So I would say in this crisis, this time, start to open your mind to what possibilities may be out there if we didn't consistently identify with and perpetuate the cycle of something we don't even like, right? I don't want to have, like, if my wife's white, if she was going to something that was for whites only, this would be a whole different conversation, right? But yet here we are, and I'm not putting down what we're doing. I know that because of the way that things are, we have to kind of identify and let people know this is specifically for the black man, because we deal with a different set of struggles, right? That go unseen. And black forgiveness looks different because we have to forgive some ignorant shit every day. Excuse my language. Multiple times a day, where someone will call my locks, they'll call them dreads or braids. And it even happens with people in our community, or they'll say some stuff and they don't even realize the twinge of prejudice, racism, and bigotry in the thing they say. And then they'll keep talking in order to clear it up. But like, those are the kind of things we have to deal with. So by creating this space for them to have this voice, which we would love for you to hop in the comments and let us know, what are your struggles? Because I don't know. I'm in the house all day, every day. Like, I work from home. I don't go outside. If I do interact with the world, it's through my feed, and it's what people are sending me or people I'm already connected with. So I think we are here to really understand the viewer and what they're struggling with, and try to offer a different perspective. And so with that crisis being the turning point, where are we turning to now? It looks like with this No Kings, we're getting back to what started America in the first place, which is we didn't like the king, right? We didn't like how things were in the UK. And so we created a democracy so we the people could shape what it is. And so how do we rise up at this point and make the change, right? The change that sticks. I know a lot of us don't like to be involved in politics because it's uncomfortable. There's three things we never talk about. It's relationships, religion, and spirituality, or relationships, religion, and politics. Those are things that are off the table when we're in a group. But maybe we need to be involved in politics. Maybe we need to be the voices out there to make the change. Because as long as we stay quiet, nothing's going to change, and we're just going to keep complaining about it. That's my nugget.
Okay. Tried to steal that road back. I heard you. I know how you do. For those who are just tuning in and you haven't had the pleasure of chilling with the Grateful Brothers, the GFB, we have this thing where when we talk, we feel like somebody's dropping nuggets, somebody's dropping wisdom, and we got to give that person the robe for the day. I forgot the significance of the robe, but I think it got something to do with like a bishop or something.
Pastoral.
But I'll give my closing argument. That's what I feel like this is. I agree with you on a lot of what you said, Greg, and you hit some trigger points for me. The main one that I thought about when you talked about, your wife being Caucasian and whatnot, and we have to identify who we're talking to and those type of things. We do want to hear from the audience. We do want to know the struggles that they're dealing with. But it's not because they're foreign to us. It's because we all have different walks and different perspectives, and we go through different things. And we want to be able to kind of create a synergy where we're providing outlets, right? And we're providing, guidance on how to handle some of those things. And I can speak specifically for me, coming out of corporate, right? There are a lot of people who work in jobs that they don't want to work in, or they work in jobs where they feel minimized, or that they have to, show out and go above and beyond just to be recognized as, par for the course. And that's just something that we've been dealing with for a long time. We have to vibrate on a different level just to maintain. And since becoming a full-time entrepreneur, I've decided I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that. I have no fear of losing my job. I have no fear of, upsetting some person who could, make a path for me on the corporate ladder. If you don't like me how I am, that's okay. It's perfectly fine. You talked about forgiving people that, mischaracterize your hair or whatever the case may be. I don't. Yeah, I don't have to forgive them for anything.
That was just an example.
I know. I'm just,
but
my point to you is, I'm taking a Zulu mentality. I'm taking a um, a militant mindset within my Christianity, of course. Like I'm not gonna become Peter and start chopping people's ear off. You know what I'm saying? But I am gonna flip some tables if I have to. You know what I mean? And the reality is, like, I was in the grocery store earlier today, and it's a lady walking in front of me, and she's walking slower than me, so I just slow down. I'm behind her, it's minding my business. You know, she notices me. And I mean, like, guys, she's struggling to get this cart out of my way. She's apologizing. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm holding you up. And I'm like, I'm just trying to get to the bread, man. It's no big deal, you know, like it wasn't that serious, but she felt that way because of some of the history and the systematic suppression and things that you understand what I'm saying? And so when you're dealing with certain people and they respond a certain way, it's based off of how they feel. It ain't got nothing to do with you. And that's not a bad thing, right? I'm only bringing it up to say, as Black men, we have to learn how to be unapologetic about who we are. We got to stop focusing on living this European lifestyle that was thrust into us and programmed to us from a kid, and understand that we got way more inside of us. This is why they want to be us so bad. And I ain't talking about one particular race or nobody. I'm just saying in general, we are children of God. And we operate and move in a way that we need to be proud of. And so for me, that's what this show is about. It's about stepping up to the plate and saying, I am who I am. And that's okay. So that's all I gotta say.
Here.
Hey, man, you know, just, he got it.
You got it.
Just to wrap it up, man, and just to recap everything we've been talking about, we started talking about our health, how it needs to be taken very seriously, and importantly, how we're moving through these economic and inflationary times, politics, no kings, and now we're moving on to how we are to carry ourselves even in this environment, to be unapologetically ourselves. Because one thing that can quickly limit you or cause so many problems in your life is when you feel constrained because you cannot or you do not have the ability to be yourself in any environment. So hopefully by listening to us and picking up some of the principles that we're putting down and then hearing back from you, all that stuff can be alleviated. We can develop some healthy practices, not only to be better men, but just to be better sons of God. I think we should change our name from GFB, SOG or something like that. Sons of God, man. What y'all think?
Okay.
We thankful for having you guys with us. I know we went a little bit over time. We want to be respectful of everybody's time. 2 Tuesdays from now, which will be the date of, let me look it up real quick because I know we right on the hinge of April.
While he looking it up, y'all hit that subscribe button, man. Hit the like, comment on the feed. We need to know. We need to hear from you.
On the 14th, we're gonna be back again, 7:00, right here. Invite a friend, invite another brother, invite a cousin, a father, anybody. Bring them here. Let's have a good conversation, man. We're gonna keep this thing going. And just to let you guys know before we close this out, on June 5th, here, if you're in the Washington, D.C. area or the Baltimore, Maryland area, we're going to be having a program on June 5th at 7 p.m. at the Miracle City Church just for Black men. It's gonna be a powerful event. There'll be a lot of brothers there. We expect the room to be packed out. Please stay tuned because we're going to be providing more information about that as the days go forward. We thank you for joining us, and we hope that Yah blesses and keeps you until the next time that we meet. Our brothers and everybody, blessings to you.
Yes, sir.